Good morning. I'm fashionably late this morning. My 2 minutes. It's exactly 9:02. Where have I been? Running around. Running around at the last minute. I remembered I hadn't turned on something downstairs, so I ran downstairs. But how you doing this morning? I'm good. I'm good. Thank you for asking. I'm good. I'm having a good morning. Excited about the day. It's Friday. Got a couple of events I'm going to do this weekend. Tonight I'm going to be performing camera here. Oh, I'm back. But I'm going to do the Chappie James Gala tonight. And then tomorrow, I am going to do in the morning the genealogy, historical find through ancestry at the Kukua Institute. So I'm kind of excited about that. I had started it years ago and I had done some of it, but I kind of got stuck. I was good, and that's the name of it. Are you stuck? Of my sessions here, but I got stuck because my mother's side was fairly easy to the mid 1800s, but my dad's side was difficult. It was difficult because of how he came into existence, he and his sister, and the fact that his mother remarried and their name wasn't changed to the mother's new name. So it was hard for me to just looking at lineage. But I'm going to find it. I'm going to find out who else I might be related to. I'm hoping I'm related to Willie Gary, who's the famous lawyer. I'm hoping, but I don't know him, and I never tried to find out if we are related. It certainly would be wonderful, but I have virtually no idea whatsoever of that side of my dad's family. Mother pretty good, father not so good. But anyway, today we're going to talk about a cool word that I found. I'm always looking for something that gives me an occasion to say, you know, we're in a who world right now, and a what world, and a how world, and we've probably been there for a long time, but I think of late, so many things have changed, and everything is moving so quickly that we have to find out, do we know the difference between what and who I am and who you are and what you requesting of me and what I want to do and those kinds of things. Good morning, Ardelia. How you doing, my friend? It's good to see you in the space. Good morning, Joan. Love you, ladies. You're so consistent. I love that. So we're going to talk about magnate and magnet. Two different words, totally different. But a lot of people get them mixed up. Magnate is our word for today, not magnet. But everyone says that a person may have a magnetic kind of an appeal to other people, that they're drawn to them. That's nice. That's nice. But a magnate is totally different, and that's what we're going to talk about. So where we get the word from, it says it's a kind of a big deal. And this is an article that I found in Merriam-Webster's, on Merriam-Webster's website, talking about magnate versus magnet. And it says it is a big deal. And how does it work? It says, how do you remember the difference between such similar looking words as magnet and magnate? And it's hard because a lot of times people think, well, they got this certain appeal and they draw people to them, but it's just different. And it says it's an ancient Greek's use of a term called magnes, lithios. And it says for strange minerals and with attractive properties. But over time, of course, it generated into what we may use to some degree today. And it says magnate is defined as a person of rank, of power, of influence, or distinction, often in a specified area. So you can think of, in fact, maybe you all can come up with one. I think of Bill Gates. Everybody knows Bill Gates, Microsoft Bill Gates. Do you have one that you can think of? Martin Luther King, we can look at him for civil rights. Just looking at these people would be considered magnates not magnetic, magnates. So would you come up with one? And it talks about the origin of magnate is straightforward. It comes via the Middle English plural of magnates from the Latin magnus, meaning large or great. Large or great. And a lot of times these people are huge in our, I would say, our regular lives. We're just regular people. But then there's other people that are huge in terms of what the industry that they run, or how much money they may have, or what they're over in terms of influence or power or presence. I would say that even though, I really don't try to do politics or anything, but the president of the United States would be a magnate. He would be a magnate. You know, um, people that run just huge corporations and they're known worldwide, or their influence is just all over. Everyone probably could say one word and you know who it is. You just know who it is. But it says a steel magnet is large or great presence in that industry in steel. We might look at somebody in art, or somebody in entertainment, basketball. They're magnates because they're huge. LeBron James, he would be a magnate. He would be a Michael Jordan. All of these people, when you think Travis, is that his name? Travis? Football. There you go. These people are huge. They're magnates. They are over, large. They're big. They're huge in terms of our understanding. Elon Musk is often called a tech magnate. So it might be that the specialty is associated with whoever the person is. So it says Magnus is not the root word that finds its way, is a root word that finds its way in many English words, including magnanimous, showing or suggesting lofty or courageous spirit, or showing or suggesting nobility of feeling. So it says also generosity of mind, magnitude, which talks about it being a great size or extent, I mean it's huge, or magnificent, which talked about marked by stately grandeur and lavishness or exceptionality, fineness. We don't even realize it. Sometimes the root of the word just gives us other words we can go on. There's just more information you can add to it. It says, so when you look at the grammar and the usage, it says commonly confuse these magnate and magnet. And it says this is a kind of the deal that we're talking about. And it says often when we mix them up, we also mix up what people may be feeling about where they're at. Magnetic just talks about something having an attraction. So somebody might be a magnate and still have magnetic pull, meaning people are drawn to them. The Pope, these people are drawn. They draw other people. And so therein lies our concept of them. And it says that we would describe these things as being important as we want them to be. They may not be as important as the other person would like them to be, but for us, we say, that's who they are. I'm not that enamored with them, over taken with them. I see them, I hear them, and I understand them, but it's not me. I am not that person. I still have to live. So when we break the word down of magnate, it says it is a person of rank, power, influence, or distinction, often in a specified area. Now, of late, we've seen names coming at us from left and right, and these people have, especially in America, they've grown to be high level positions that they're taking, and they have, with them a title that would come with them as almost like an underpin. It says that they might have a magnate, appearance or affect because they're over a lot of people. Messenger, come on now, that's great. A messenger, common, understanding that they're out there in a position to give a message. Thanks, Joan. They're in a position to give a message. That's really good. But also a magnate is a baron, could be a Tsar, a Caesar, could be a lion, could be a mogul, a Napoleon. When I saw Napoleon on the list of synonyms, I said, wow, Napoleon, interesting. Because Napoleon, you talk about his presence was huge, but his appearance was small. That's because he lived through what he wanted his legacy to be known as. That he meant business, he had authority, he wielded around, he let everybody know who he was in spite of how he looked. There you go. He was a messenger. After a while, he didn't even have to talk. But it says also a magnate can be a king, a lord, a prince, or a tycoon. I don't have any friends that I know that are any of those, descriptions. None of them. I don't know a mogul or a Napoleon. I don't know a prince or a lord. I don't know kings. Don't know tycoons. I don't know any of them. But what I do know is that in my own little sandiness, that I draw people to me and have friends, and that's good. I like that about me, but I'm not saying but I've never been a magnate. I've never been somebody that had so much influence, power, and will over others. It's just not me. And I'm not known for anything huge. I'm just known for just being Sandy, educator, occasional singer, writer. That's it. And sometimes we have to even define ourselves to ourselves because other people will assign things to us. So we have to step aside of that. So when we break the word down, my first letter is the M, which Joan already gave me, a messenger, but I said mogul because if somebody is a magnate, they are a mogul. It says a great personage, and Hollywood moguls, they have them all over the place. Industry moguls, such as tycoons, such as people that you just mentioned their name and the industry that they're in, what products that they're over, in some instances, you may even know that they are one word, a millionaire, a billionaire, a trillionaire. We may know them by the money that they hold or said to be holding, according to Forbes magazine. So moguls are tycoons, they're magnates, they're kings, barons, stars. They may be princes or lords or Napoleon. There it is again. They may be captains. They may be, out operating huge ships, or they may be in the military over many people. They may be monarchs, a big wig. Now, they're getting slang there. Big wigs, honchos, fat cats. There's another slang. A mover and a shaker. Do you know mover and shakers? Now, I know mover and shakers on the small realm. I don't know them on the big realm. I don't know anything about them on the large scale, but on small scale, yes, I do. When we move on in our word this morning of magnate, my A, and magnate is MAGNATE. So magnate talks about my A. The M for me was mogul. The A for me is aristocrat. I had to find it. I said, oh yeah, I remember. I don't know if you ever remember the Disney Aristocrats. But anyway, it says aristocrats, one believed to be the superior of its kind, a person of high birth or social position. It's almost like people who were born into wealth. Those are basically aristocrats. It might be the queen and all the lineage thereof, and who will ascend to the throne and all those kinds of things. But that would be an aristocrat status, an advocate. Come on now. There you go. Advocate would be wonderful. It's a great word. A great word, because an advocate means somebody speaking for somebody, And generally speaking, if someone's in control or in a position of power and influence, then they're also determining what else will be in play for those that they consider to be under them or consider to be those who will use or need their products. That's how it's done. You know, it's smart. It's smart if you're ever able to get there. But an aristocrat, okay, they said that's by birth and social position. They're a noble. There's the word again, magnate. They're blue bloods. They're socialites, and they say they're gentle. And I looked up the word gentle, and I was reading it, and I had a little problem with it because it says they're gentle, and gentle, we think of a sense of how people are treated and a feeling that they would give to others. But then you think about the word of aristocrat and mogul and magnate, and czars and all this kind of things. All you can think of is that almost seems like it's not a quality, or it should be a diminished quality, especially if we don't see it in the individuals that have this aristocrat, mogul, magnate status. But anyway, that's what it says, gentle. I didn't get there, okay, but I put it on there because it was of interest to me. Next thing we move through is, and magnate is my G, and my G is giant. That means they are huge, usually extremely large. When we think about people that have so much money that, in fact, I was listening to Bill Gates the other day. He has out a new book, and one of the things he was saying is that, where they were asking him is that he has no intentions of leaving all of what he's earned to his children. He said they will be comfortable, but they're not going to be the people that will better utilize or equally utilize the funds that he has been able to earn through the years. And he said, it's hard to believe, but you have to think about others beyond your center section, you and those close to you. You have to look out. Who's in need? Who desires things that they've never had? Who's have an opportunity to get something that they've never known? Such simple things as water, education, those kinds of things. So it's really interesting that he said that, but I feel that makes him a giant among others who may have that same status of being of a magnate. How do you get there? And yes, govern. Yes, that's very good, Joe. Very good. When we govern, we're all governed. I don't care who we are. We may say that we're not, but we are. Somebody's over us. Somebody's over our money. Somebody's over if we in the process of purchasing a house, or even when we bought it. Then after we buy it, we still are subject to somebody saying, now you would pay the property taxes on it every year. And if you miss them over a period of 3 years, then we will be selling your property out from under you. You understand that. A giver, oh, that's wonderful too. Both govern and giver. They're wonderful words because it's true. When you speak of this giant, and we're talking about, and this one that I referenced was Bill Gates, the fact that he is a giver is wonderful. But what if you have a magnate that does not give? Okay. Then it would be like a gopher. That means it's in the ground. It's buried. It's for certain folks, or it's later money, or later something else that's being given. But anyway, when we go back to giant, it says it's something that's gigantic. Are magnates giants? Yes, they're huge. And there's the next word: huge, enormous, massive, vast, immense, monumental, astronomical, and overall big. When we think about people that have that title of being a magnate, they're huge. They're above anything that you and I have ever, assembled in terms of money, power, influence, any of that. We don't have it. So we look and we can see who's been given it, who's earned it, and what they're doing with it. If it's, disclosed, then we know that. But yes, a giver would be good, but a magnate, and if they're a good magnate and they magnate and they have that spirit of generosity and gentleness, then yes, they would be a giver. Absolutely. But generally they are in a position of governing. They are. Next, we move on to my N. And y'all know what my N is because I've already mentioned the little fella. It's Napoleon. And Napoleon is just, and it's all cap, it's capped. The N is capitalized. It says one like Napoleon. That's one that has ambition, ones that sees their future, ones that see not only their future and maybe in a position to determine your future, either by something they've invented or something they're requiring or something that is expected or whatever. It's there. They put it out there to you, in order to get on to understanding or staying relevant in current in your windows. You have to upgrade, and so there's money always coming in because everybody has to get the latest version in order for it to work, for your computers to work. If you're on this, and of course if you're using the Mac computers, there's still some rigors that you must go through there as well. But negotiate with, that's really good. But sometimes the negotiation has been worked out for us. Not that we wanted, not that we wouldn't love to negotiate, but we have to just determine if we're going to take it. And then we have to determine sometimes if we're going to take the cheapest package, or we're going to take the mid-range, or we're going to take the high end, or we're going to take the exclusive. Because, a lot of times I find that people that have this position of being a magnate, they know the structure. And therefore there's the ruling, there's the Napoleon with his little hand and inside his coat. But there's a way to let you know, yeah, no, you're in check, because you need me. So you have to come through me, and it's very powerful when you think of going through what these folks that are magnates can do. So it also says that they are tycoons. They can be kings. They can be barons. And of course, we don't have kings in our country, so we don't know much about it. We don't know about a king. We know of kings. We've known about them in the Bible. We may know about them in terms of Europe. Some of them have kings. But we don't have a king. And so I know in Africa there's kings, but we don't have kings in the United States. And if they do, they come. They come and then they stay a while, but they come in still a position of magnate, still in that position because their money, their power, their presence, their influence still puts them higher than the average Sally, Sue, John, and Jeff. It's just, that's the way it is. Sometimes people don't even realize, the power of money or the power of rank just terms in birth order, where someone, is already well-to-do, and then they make their well-to-do to be forever done because they know how to get money, keep money, and negotiate. There you go, Joan. So I said Napoleon, of course, and it says that he was, Napoleon also says they could be a captain, a monarch, a baron, but they could be basically in a position to rule others, and I always try to go with, but I'm so glad, and I'm honest about this. I'm so glad that I can always go to my father upstairs and praying that he's still there, that anything that is negotiated down here that's wrong, that's evil, that's unkind, that's ungiving, unloving, that it will be dealt with. That's my only resource, or that's my best resource. I can say it that way. That's my best resource, because it's hard to beat a giant. Let's face it, it's hard to beat giants. We like to think that we can, but we cannot. We cannot. Even Goliath, even though he was beat down, took a while. Took a while because everybody else was afraid of him. Everybody else was afraid. So my A in going forward in magnate, I have authority. It says as in influence, authority. It says the power to direct the thinking or behavior of others, usually indirectly, meaning they've already, made up some way of how we will stay in order. Certain things have to be paid on time, or they're going to cut your lights off. That's the authority. And they call them utility authorities, okay? Your garbage going to be stopped. Garbage pickup if you don't pay that, Telephone going to be turned off. These are forms of authority. We can't say they're not magnate in terms of a person, but they're magnate in terms of companies. And there's always somebody running those companies. So it would be just, they're there. They are definitely there. Accountable. Yes. Accountable. Oh, you both said the same thing. Accountable. Who's making everything accountable? Or are we accountable to others? Yes, we are. Yes, we are. But, if your bill is due, you don't want to let your bill get a day over, 30 days over. And it doesn't matter because some bill companies, some billing companies, 1 day over, they're already not only billing you for the next cycle, but they're also adding on an additional amount of money. You just think about it. They're like doing something. Let me dismiss that. Something came up on my screen. So when we have someone that's in authority, it says the power of directive thinking or behavior determining this for others. Usually, though, it's indirectly. They're not talking directly to you. They're just telling you these are what you must adhere to. Okay. And in your inherence of that, you must adherence to that. You must pay. You must do. You must be. You must show up. You must make appearance. That's what it is. So it's influence. It's a SWOT. It's leverage. It's credit. Because sometimes our credit is tied up in how quickly we respond, and if we respond in a timely manner. Okay. And then they also have nerve on top of that, getting back to some of the companies, that they'll turn your name in, which also makes your credit score go down. So you're put in a position of always being concerned about, am I on the right track of under the influence of others? Let's face it, we all are. We all are. So it also talks about authority having importance, domination, dominance, and superiority. That's life. I know I didn't get that that thing that just told me that I was going to be free as a bird and fly where I wanted to and do what I want to and not worry about a thing. Never been there. Don't know what it is. I have no idea. So when we move on our word of magnate, we talk about the T. My T is for tycoon, a wealthy, powerful person in business or industry. Wealthy, powerful, in business or industry. And let's face it, we know them. We know them. They're out there. And we might be buying their products. Every time we buy something from Amazon, Jeff Bezos smiling. In fact, he doesn't even have to run the company on a regular basis. He doesn't, Timidity. Okay. And what is timidity? Let me look it up on my phone. Where's my phone? So I want to make sure that I'm on it. What does it mean, Joan? I'm looking for my phone. I don't know where I left it at. I look up all words, but I don't know what that one is. Boldness. Okay. Thank you. I love it. That's great. Timidity is boldness. Temerity. I need to make sure I spell it right. I say it right. Temerity. Temerity is boldness. Interesting. And yes, let's face it, they are bold. They're able to do that. They're able to do that. I tell you, this is why I love words so much, because there's so many. There's no way anybody knows all the words that are out there for description, but I learned a new one. I tell people, learn something new every day. Now I have a new word, temerity. I love it. So anyway, we know that these people exist. You know, they don't hide. You know, their presence is made known every time we want to buy something, every time we want to go eat in a restaurant. You know, even if their name isn't out in front, if they're planted at the helm of, you know, this restaurant chain, they're doing fine. They're doing fine. Okay. And then I have a last one. Let me see what you all would come up for your E. What would you come up for E? Knowing that the word is magnate. Magnate. What would you come up with? I know Joan always has a word. I'm surprised. Usually Carney and Cheryl usually have a word too. Magnate is our word. But what would you put for extraordinary? That's a good word. Absolutely. Because it's extraordinary that we even see what we see, and we don't have, you know, we don't have the same playing field, you know, in terms of money and all that kind of stuff, but we see it. We see the influence, you know. I'm trying to see what the word is. Endeavor. Yes. Endeavor. That's a good word. And we do have to endeavor. We do. Extraordinary, endeavor. I have eminence, you know, the fact or state of being above others in rank or importance. Eminence. It is what it is. You know, dominance, superiority, reputation, you know, repute, also distinction. You know, some people that have those magnate descriptions and identification, they are distinctive, renowned. You know, there may be some supremacy to it, you know, and influence, but for the most part, it says they're prestigious, and there might be just absolute fame. Absolute fame. Empower. That's a great word too. You know, even though we haven't been empowered, they have. Elevated. Oh my goodness, you guys came with it today. Extraordinary, endeavor, empower, elevated. All great words. And mine was eminence. You can't beat this stuff. You know, to me, I just learned so much just by delving into one word, which opens up a conversation for more words, you know, to just be able to speak. Wow. I mean, I this is always just so much fun to me. And it's my learning exercise for the week, trying to keep my brain, you know, what I would say, well oiled, constantly moving in and out of information versus information. I rest on the off day, but sometimes on the off day, I'm still looking at the word for 2 days next week, or I'm working ahead as well as working on tomorrow's word. But these are great. Did you all enjoy it? This was a good word. And do you know the difference between magnate and magnetic? Anybody? Who knows the word, the difference? Because I'm going to say it again because it's important. Because I think a lot of times we say that people are magnetic, and it's really not so much that they're magnetic. If they're elevated in a high position, They might be magnate, which means they're high up there. The other people may be just drawing folks together. There may be and I guess in the common ground, it may be that they feel that that they have some magneticness going on. You know, I'm pulling people here and there and whatever. Hi, Miss Rosie. And Cheryl and Cardi and Ardelia and Joan. A lot of people listen later. They told me that. I've seen a few of them. They said, girl, you know, I be trying to listen, but, you know, somebody coming in my office so I can't hear it. I said, that's okay. Don't worry about it. But I love it. If you don't do anything else, share it. Let people know that Dr. Winnie is here, just having a little fun, going through words that people can know, maybe should know, and certainly like myself, nosy enough to know, and just being able to have a conversation with anybody. I love you, love you, love you. I'm gonna see you on Monday. It is Friday. It's Friday. The weekend's on. What you got plans? Hope your plans are good. Include yourself in getting some relaxation, learning a little bit, and exercising. Do that for yourself, okay? And I will see you on Monday, 9 a.m. Central Standard Time on Facebook Live. I also have a YouTube channel and Instagram. So I'm on one platform. It is the actual taping platform, which is StreamYard. Love StreamYard because it gets into all the other connections that I formed. So it makes it where I only have to tape it one time. That's it. I don't have to go to each location and do that. Oh, thank you so much, Ardelia, for my sunflowers. You know, I got some the other day and they weren't good, so that hurt me. I guess they had been caught up in the snow or something, but I took back one bunch, and then the other bunch I got, and they weren't much better, but I didn't take them back. I was tired. But thank you all. I love you, and I'll see you on Monday. Thank you, Joan. I love you too. Bye-bye. Have a good, be safe.